Ba, ba, ba. Welcome if you're watching live. We are starting in just a moment. We're just getting myself settled here, ready to start. This is going to be a chill stream. We're going to show you the process, but I'm not going to be talking a lot of the time. I'm just going to crack on and do it. I will talk through things, and if you've got questions that arise, feel free to ask them in the chat. That's why we're doing this live. Was going to put this off until tomorrow, but I went away, and while this thing was making the book, I watched some TV for an hour or so. When I came back, this message was on screen. So, good to see you, Tom. Skittles is doing just fine. Now I've said her name out loud, she might not. She might start chirping. We'll see how we go. Anyway, let's bring that music down a bit. It's going to be a chill stream, but we maybe don't want that quite so loud for now. Let me take down that banner. See, super chill. There we go. And I left this screen up the whole time, so hopefully people that are watching a replay can easily find this point, because I'm going to jump to my other screen and I'm going to go into the email from Who. It tells me the book is ready, Aquarium Ding Dong. Going to hit the download button and hit save. So I have not seen this. I didn't take a sneaky peek or anything. Really are doing this live. So here we go. Let's go in this folder. And let's load up the chapters document. Word always takes a moment or three to come up when I'm live streaming or recording my screen. So everything will probably run a wee bit slower. There we go, it's coming up now. Got the worry wheel of ding dong, so I can't do anything yet. But anyway, we can see that the book is there. There we go. So there's a nice little introduction. Cycling the tank. We go now. It's going to go from break everything down. Right equipment. Maintenance. Well, this is looking pretty good. All right. I don't even have to read right the way through it. I'm just going to show you the process. Now, I will talk through some of this as I go, because there's a few tips and tricks that I've picked up with Word. I am not a Word expert, right? I'm not great at word processing or anything like that. I used to be back in the day when it was Word Perfect and it was on a DOS-based system. I was a whiz with it. I could make it do the most remarkable things. These days, I use word processor for what it is, you know. So I kind of pick and choose the features I need, and I never try and do any more than is necessary. So here are the things that I've noticed that I do when I'm making a book, and this is the first time I think I've shown the entire process. So I'm going to get rid of the word chapters because I don't need that there, and I'm going to put in a page break right there so that the first chapter here starts over on its own page. This is going to be my title page. So this here will be the title, and we can actually select title as the type in here. I don't have to keep that and bold that, and I like to center it up. There we go. There is my the other thing I'm going to want to copy in here is standard copyright notice and disclaimer. Oops. And the easiest way for me to do that at this point, because I've done several of these, is to load up a recent document that's got one in it. So let's take one that I was working on earlier. There we go, vegan salad mat. Oh, I loaded the wrong document. Never mind. Let's try and load the correct one. Recent. I want vegan salad magic. That was the actual document. Ping. Okay, and in here, of course, I have got. Now, this one was by a different author, but that doesn't matter because I don't think I mention her name. anywhere in the disclaimer, so I can just copy that, and then we can come back up here and we can get back to the correct document, which was this one. And I'm just going to paste that in. And I normally get the Who logo as well. I missed that time. Not a problem. I can always go back and get that. But anyway, that gives me a standard disclaimer and everything else. And I normally push that down a little bit on the page. So there's a little bit of white space between it. There we go. And then the next thing I'm going to do is stick another page break in ahead of everything. And in here is going to go our graphic title page. So I'm just going to say insert a picture from file. And I would have put this in downloads. So let's go to downloads. And so there it is, Aquarium Mastery. Boom, there that goes in. That fills the first page. There's my little copyright notice. I am going to quickly go and grab, because I missed it, the other bit that I wanted from here. Want to grab this as well. So what I'll do is I'll grab the whole of that. It's because I thought I wanted to avoid picking up the name, but we'll grab the whole of that. Oh, I get all of it. Did now. Go back to this one, and we can drop that in there, and then we can obviously change this name to Susan E. Nim. All right, so that's our first bit of the book set up. Now, the next thing I want to do is tackle these headings. The headings that are put out by when it pulls this in by default, the way Word interprets them, it makes them way bigger than we ever intended. But it just seems to be a thing with Word. So here's the quick way. First thing to do, all the main chapter headings, I want heading 1. So I select one of them and I come up here to Styles pane. This is on your Home tab. And now I can hit this button that says Select All, and that will select all of these that match this formatting. At the moment, this has no formatting, it's normal, but it will match everything of that font size, which is normal 30-point bold. I can now apply a different heading to all of these. So I can say now make all these heading 1, which it does. The other thing I want to do is I also want to make all of these black. And now because I've made a change to heading 1, oh, and I want them bold, please. So now what I want to do is update heading 1 to match selection. Boom, done. So now all of the main chapter, all of the chapter and sub-chapter titles it's done are those. But now we can get these, which are sort of the other headings, come in here. And we can say, select all of those, please. And we're going to change all of those to, what should we go for here? Heading. Well, let's just do heading 2 on them. That'll be fine. And again, I want them to be black. And maybe I want them bold. Yeah, I like bold. So this is heading 2. So I now want to update this to match the selection. So now I've already got, and you'll see the book has shrunk a bit in size because we're using a more reasonable font. The rest of the text I can leave as normal text, so I don't have to worry about any of that. So there's my first change is getting this in, and then I get the headings done. Now, the next thing I want to do, I leave chapter 1, I leave any main chapter heading as it is. So that's a heading, and that's heading 1. Then we come down through. Now, I can get rid of any blank gap pages that have been put in here, of which you always get a few. Let's get rid of that, but not that. Nearly there. Come on. There we go. I can get rid of this 1.1. I don't need any number that's got a point in it. I generally get rid of. So this becomes my main heading now without that in it. come down. Here's another one we can get rid of. So I can take out this 1.2. I know from experience that delete up to a certain point here. There we go. Now it's also put numbers on these, which it doesn't normally do, but sometimes it does. And you know, this is one of those annoying things. We have engineered and re-engineered the prompting behind this to not put all of these numbers in. Still, sometimes it goes on a bender and does them. You know what? It's really not a big deal. You can just take them out. Now, there is a quick way of doing that. There are some fancy ways of doing that, getting rid of those extra numbers. But honestly, I don't worry too much. It's just as quick for me to manually take them out. I think we can move that up any further, so we'll leave that where it is. These numbers are okay. This is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's fine. I don't mind that. I'll leave those in. This is all nice, all talking about water chemistry. Now, the only thing I'd say on these, some of these paragraphs it makes really long, and one of my favorite ways of just breaking this down is to just split these up and make them so fish, keep the fish levels, pH levels, so we can start a new paragraph on the ideal pH. Tropical freshwater, we can break up water there, and it not only does it make it just makes it easier to read, but it also fills out that page a little bit more nicely. Now bear in mind, the other thing we're going to do in here is drop some images in, but I tend to do that once I've done this tidy up, because then I can see what white space I've actually got to work with. Though these are quite nicely broken up already, so I'm not going to really make too many changes there. Maybe we put one in there just to push a bit more down that page. Plus we can remember this isn't a brand new chapter, so in actual fact this is going to move up here anyway. Let's see how that looks now. See, that's fitting a bit more nicely. This next bit is also not a main chapter, so we want to take this out. And then we've got something I've noted that the old AI likes to do, no matter how we've tried to guide this. Sometimes it likes to write an introduction as if it's a complete new chapter, even though it isn't. When it does that, I just get rid of these bits. There we go. And it just suddenly looks and makes far more sense. I mean, I do the same when I get extra conclusions, like here. We can just get rid of that and just do it as a footnote. Remember that it still makes sense. It still reads just fine, but it doesn't look like a bot wrote it, because it doesn't say in conclusion, which is like one of AI's favorite sayings, I think. We can move all this up, because this also is not the start of a new chapter. It's just a continuation. Sub-chapters or subsections are not chapters. Good. This one doesn't start with an intro. It does what we expect it to do, nor does it end with a conclusion, so that's fantastic. That one's good. This is a new chapter, so it does want to be on the next page. Again, I don't think we have to start every chapter with a welcome, but I'm quite happy for it to start. In this chapter, we will dive into the fascinating world of aquascaping. We could also just take that sentence out. Why is it important? We can space this out a little bit more here again. That's a nice bulleted list, but it needs a bit of white space at the end of it, so we're going to stick a line in there. This talks about different styles, and then we talk about each of those styles. So we'll put that on a separate paragraph. Then we got some expert tips and tricks, so that's nice. But we're not into a new chapter, so we can come over here. Now I probably would drop a picture in here to fill some space, but for now I'm just going to take this out. You don't want chapter 3.1 there. We don't need this welcome either. Right, we can just get rid of that. You'll notice that most of the editing I do is deleting. I do very little actual editing. Occasionally, I see a thing like this throughout this. I just change this to like throughout this section, make it a little bit more vague. Now, hopefully, it's done the insights, because that's the other thing. Sometimes it talks about them and then doesn't write them. Not seeing them, so I might take that out. Let's see what this says. Elements. Oh, just get rid of that. There we go. See, sometimes it, again, rather than try and go, what was it trying to do there? It just makes sense for it to finish at that point and then ride into this next part, which is the next part of the thing. Again, not a new chapter, so I take the numbers out. I find those numbers useful actually when it does put them in. It helps me know, where what is and things. This is all nice. Again, that needs a bit of white space at the end of it. Another bulleted list, that's fine. And again, we can just space this out a bit. I can also drop an image in here somewhere. It might be good to put an image at the further up here to push this down, but I've got room to play, so I'll come back to that. Although this again isn't a whole new chapter, let's have a summary of that. Let's just tidy this up and let's get rid of this unnecessary junk at the beginning. There we go. Let's hate when it does that. Okay, not hard to put right, of course. Heading 1. What's that? Heading 2. Heading 2. Yeah, that works. Right. I can take this out. Don't need the word conclusion there. Whoops. It's that. Maybe break some of these bigger paragraphs. They're not too bad. Big gap there, but if we drop an image or so in, we'll come back to that. Now into the FastLet again. We don't really need to tell them what we're going to be doing. What we can do is say, now it's time to dive deep into the captivating world of fish. There we go. Varieties, blah, 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 blah. It's made up a marine biologist. That's good. Not a bad name. Don't need this really at the end of there, and we can move this up. So again, as you see, we only did 6 chapters, so we're nearly done on this. Not a main chapter, so take that out. Again, not a main chapter, so come back over here. So again, now it's time to discuss. I think that's better. We can probably move this up a little bit more. Yeah. Okay. That's all good. Moving this up because it's not a new chapter. That's a nice intro for a change, not a rubbish repetitive one. Which normally means it ballses up the conclusion. Really don't need that. Honestly, don't need any of that. Right, oh, chapter 5 done. It's done some interesting formatting on chapter 5, but anyway, let's see what we get here. Doesn't normally group them up like that. See, sometimes you just get bizarre results, and you never know quite what to expect. But it's never a problem. We just fix it. Okay, that's all good. This is alright apart from the spacing, it's done that, I think. But for some reason it just went, no, I'm not doing any spacing on that one. But it didn't even put anything in here. In that conclusion, which we can get rid of anyway. And it didn't get much better as it went on. Oh, well, no, it just seems to be this chapter. Never mind, that's... the AI does have a personality, so I just go, no, I'm not doing what I'm told. I'm going to make you work a bit harder for a change. Writing all these books and saying it was you. Well, this one's Susan anyway. I normally get rid of chapter conclusions. I'm normally not very good. I didn't even read it, but I'm normally not very good. Oh, now it's got the spacing somewhat right again. Okay. Probably don't want that conclusion. That's probably going to go. And then, is that the end of the book? No. We've got section 5.3. Okay. And then, I think, do we do 6 chapters? Told you it's chill. I'm just having a sip of a beverage. This is all quite nice. Sometimes I really just look at this and go, wow, I couldn't have written better than this myself. You know, I just love take out that word conclusion, and that's fine. And then we're on the final chapter, so let's just okay, advanced techniques. Okay, so really just get rid of all of this and say finally let's explore some advanced techniques and tips that will take your choreography to the next level. That's good. And then it just is largely repeating a lot of what it said, but we don't worry about that. Okay. Oh, and now it's going to talk about advanced things it's already talked about. Oh, that's okay. That's pretty good. Let's maybe get rid of that pointless sentence there. Move this up. Rid of that. These are all good. Theme ideas are all nice. Break in there. I don't ever like it saying dive in, but I don't mind. So let your imagination run wild as you embark. That's good. And then the final bit. Again, not a fresh chapter. and we're done. So now the only other thing that you can optionally do, of course, is insert some images. And both Kurt and I have found that one of the best sources of images, if you're using Microsoft Word, is the online Bing image search, and just choose Creative Commons only. On the odd time it's necessary to have an attribution, it puts it in for you, and you can scale down the font size on it. So let's just put a couple in this one. We're not going to go overboard on images, but I think that there are some things that we can make this, like choosing the right tank. We can put in a nice picture of an aquarium in here. So we want to go up here to insert. And we've got pictures. And now I can't do it yet. And here's why. We're in compatibility mode. So what I need to do is just file and save as. And I can overwrite that and say replace. But what I usually do at this point is I save as what it actually is called. So fish, I'll just call it fish aqua.docx. There we go. Okay, now we can click on pictures and we can choose online pictures. I don't choose stock images, they are way too limited. So now if we go over here and type in aquarium, we are bound to get some nice, look at these, nice Creative Commons. We obviously don't want a full, we want like a home aquarium. That's a nice picture there. And we say insert that. Boom, it puts it in. I normally scale them down a little bit. Little hint, hold down the shift key as you click here, and it doesn't matter how you drag the mouse, it will keep it to scale. So we're going to do that, and then all I do is I center these images up because they look good. I mean, on Kindle, most of the people are going to see these in black and white anyway, so they're not going to look that great. Let's be honest about what these are. They're just padding. They just make the book appear longer, and they break up some of the walls of text that are in here. So here we could do another one here. For example, we could drop an image in here. So this is talking about aquarium decoration. So let's find a nicely decorated home aquarium if we can. I mean, no, that's not brilliant, but it looks like a good home job. So we'll insert that. That one doesn't need attribution either, which is fantastic. But what I might do is come over here, and you can do a lot of the stuff you need to do to a picture, you can do in Word. So just to crop it, for example, we don't really need all that at the top of this. Maybe leave the top of the tank there. Certainly don't need all this space at the bottom. Boom, that's good. And then finally, I'm just going to come down here, hold down shift, resize it a little bit and center it up. So there you go, very quickly. We got some nice looking images just getting dropped in. And you can drop them in for whatever you want to. The power of natural light. I mean, we could just put a picture of the sun in. I mean, these pictures don't do anything. People know what a sun looks like, you know. But it's illustrative stuff that just breaks up all the text, and also stops you having big bits of white gap at the end of pages between chapters. And you can just drop them in for anything, and they don't even have to mean anything. You know, that really is the thing. For example, here, let's just do something like this. Let's just go up here and type in fish. I'm just going to find a nice fish picture. It doesn't have to be anything special. I don't even know what it is. That'll do though. Insert that. Oh, I accidentally inserted two pictures. Alright then, we'll get rid of that one. And we'll take this picture and we'll just shrink it down. Same trick as before. Center it up. Like I say, it doesn't mean anything. It just breaks up the book a little bit and helps you so you don't end up with loads of white space at the bottom of a page. So what's this talking about? Tranquil environments. Here we go. We can find just again a random fish picture will go in beautifully on here. It's a beta fish. Doesn't really matter what. We don't want one on a plate, do we? I don't think we want dead fish in this. That's not the image that we're trying to get across there, but it's pretty. Let's just go for that one. And again, make it a bit smaller. You know, it's because I'm just using general fish pictures, so they don't have to necessarily even relate to the text, you know. So it just spaces all that out nicely. So just undo that. Okay, don't undo that. I'll just do it this way. No, heading 1 for main chapters, right? It's talking all about pH testing. I bet I can actually find a pH testing strip that looks like the sort of things they use in aquariums here. Doesn't even have to be an actual aquarium one. It just has to be that's a water test there. We could grab that. And we could stick that in somewhere here. Or maybe at the in between. Let's try it there. That one does need an attribution. Doesn't bother me in the slightest. I'm going to make it quite small anyway. Maybe not that small. And then what we're going to do, sometimes the attribution vanishes even. Okay, right. Where's the attribution gone? There it is. Oops. Always faffy to get to this. Thank you, Microsoft, for not making this easy. I want to select that text. No, just that text. There we go. Finally. Back at home. Once the font down to like 6 or 5.5, something like that. There we go. And let's just now send all that good gubbins up. There we go. We got there in the end. That's all nice. That's all nice. That's all good. And you don't have to fill every bit of white space, by the way. I'm just doing it to show that you can do it. So, you know, you've just gone for one out until you decide you want another picture in there. You know, like this is talking about designs. It might be nice to put in a nice aquarium design. So let's actually type in the word aquascaping and see what we get. Oh yeah, okay. So we could maybe drop in a nice aquascaping image in here. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, there's a brilliant example. There we go. Boom. Might even leave that picture quite big because it's it's a nice picture. That shows lots of technical stuff as well, but that's great. So, plants. So maybe we want to put a picture of some plants in there, maybe. I don't know. Actually, this needs to be moved down a bit. Power of rocks, wood. I reckon in here we just drop another generic nice picture. Let's just pick one of these. There's another good one. Chapter 4 is a new chapter, so that will be on a new page anyway. And then this. Oops. Undo that. There we go. Let's make it a bit smaller. Ooh, what's happening here? That was bizarre. I'll just try hitting the undo button. If in doubt, undo. It's working now. Oh, it goes weird when it gets to a certain size. Right. We won't get to that certain size then. Let's down this font size first. There we go. Matches the other. Let's center that. Right, it's grabbed hold of that. I like breaking that, and now we can come back up here and justify that back. That's good. We'd be amiss to not put some brightly coloured fish in here as pictures, wouldn't we? But I'm now getting bored, so I'm just going to get to the end of this and say it's done, right? Because you don't have to put in. You absolutely don't have to go overboard. We'll drop a couple of extras in. Oh, let's actually not say. Let's not say aquarium. Let's say fish tank, because then we won't probably get the big commercial ones. There we go. I mean, look at that. Oops. There's some absolutely gorgeous. There we go. Again. Not going to make the actual picture much smaller. I'm just going to take down the font size of that to match the others. Oops, 5.5 it was. Maintenance. If we... Again, what we can do here... It doesn't have to be a picture of what we're talking about. It doesn't have to be someone maintaining a tank. We can just drop another really nice fish tank picture in here. And that's way too big, of course, so we'll shrink it down. Don't want to go too much smaller. Not going to help anyway. Let's try something here. Move that down. A bit skewy. I don't want to do that. There we go. There we go. And of course we want that in the center as well. Okay. Troubleshooting, really boring topics. Oh, chapter 6, that's a new chapter. So that one's... Aren't we in chapter 6? Hang on, I'm getting confused now. But we're in 6. Are we not in 6 yet? No, we're in 5. All right, we're in 6 here. Advanced stuff, blah, blah, blah. That'll do. Right, okay. So what we've landed at is 29 pages. That's perfectly adequate for what we want on here. I'm going to hit save. Now I'm going to whiz up the top because the next thing we want to do is we're going to add in a table of contents. And because we set everything as heading 1 and heading 2 and all that good stuff, this is pretty automatic. So we want to come down underneath these pages here. Let me just do a bit more tidy up there. put a page break in here, go to this page, and I'm just going to do it from here because it's quicker. And let's stick in a formal one and say OK. There's a nice table of contents which fills up, wow, about 3 pages. And there we go. There we have our book. And that's pretty much ready to go now. So I can come over here. I can hit save one more time. And then I'm going to minimize Microsoft Word or tap that down. And we can now go and list that on Kindle, which is also very easy. In fact, we're going to do that right now. But we're going to do it after a few minute break. So I am going to take a break for about 5 minutes, and then I will return and we will list this on Kindle because I need to go and get myself refreshed and whatever else, take a break from talking. So I will be back in 5 minutes. I'm going to stick a banner up to that effect. I make it 1:45 a.m. in the UK, so I will be back here by 1:50. See you then. Dokey. I'm not going to talk through a lot of this bit because in the last bit there were quite a lot of editing tips and tricks I had. There aren't any tips and tricks for this, not really. So I'm just going to do it really, and I'll make the odd comment when there is one. But really, this is just following the process. You remember earlier we made an image in Canva for the cover, and I downloaded that as a large JPEG in that one format. You'll see me using that as we do this. But really, you come into kdp.amazon.com and you log in. And you go to your bookshelf and you create a new book. And we're just going to focus on this at the moment, an ebook. Highly recommend you looking at paperbacks as well. They do have a couple of other formatting issues. We will talk about paperbacks separately at some point, but you'll find your way through it. The irritation with Kindle is that when there's an error, it doesn't often tell you what the error is, and paperbacks are far more fussy than Kindle books. So, Kindle book, it wants to know the title. Oh, what was that? Well, I can now go and bring back, where is it? Over here, we go to Rider Hub Online. And now, because this is actually finished, I can get to any of this information and copy and paste it. So I can grab that from there. Let's go and get the other window back. There we go. There's our book title. Now, I could make it Aquarium Mastery and then make this a subtitle, of course. Entirely up to you. In fact, let's do that. I don't know if it makes a huge difference, is the thing. But there we go. It's not a series. It's not an edition. I don't fill anything in I don't have to fill in. This is going to be Susan the Nymph going in there. Don't need to contribute because she's the only author, so I can ignore that. Book description. Oh, where are we going to get that from? Well, we're going to get that straight from our file. That was a different book. There we go. Go to the description and load that up. I'm just going to copy this. And I'm not kidding. I do nothing other than space this out and tidy it up. So we go back over to our KDP. In it goes. Okay, from the Tranquilix Child of Ponsonby, Susan D. Nymph journeyed with nothing but extraordinary. Lovely. Boom. Bit of a break in there. No one is actually going to read most of this anyway. And then it talks about the book Aquarium Mastery. So what we want to do here is bold this. And italicize it. Here's what it covers. Now what we can do here is we can turn the chapter bit that it's done into bullet points. So if we just put a break between each of these. 3, 4. There's chapter 5 and chapter 6. And that's fine. Okay. Delete all that space at the end. Right, now I'm going to highlight those chapters and turn that into a bulleted list. There we go. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a shift enter at the end of each one, which will put in a line gap without making a new bullet. And then I'm also going to just come up here now and bold these titles. Just to make them pop out. Alternate Wonders. The Art of Aquascaping. Bear in mind, this is what people on Amazon see when they're, considering getting a book. And even though you're going to be giving it away, delicate balance require maintenance. So yeah, you want to make a little bit of effort here. This is what sells the book on Amazon. There we go. And then I might just bold and italicize the name there as well. Right, I own the copyright. Primary audience, sexually explicit, no. Don't need to set the age rating. This one, I tend to list them on my UK as the main thing. I don't think it makes any difference. Choose categories. Okay, so now we have to come in here and we have to think, oh, what was it under? So we need to find the thing it matches. Was it pets or something like that? Okay. Okay, we don't have a pets. Education and reference. Maybe not. It's not really home and garden. It is non-fiction, but they haven't got much in the way of things in there. Okay, there's not a pet section on this list. So let's just go back. And let's instead say Amazon.com. And you'll see we get different options now. Do we get a pets one though? We still don't get pets on there. Cookbooks, children's books. It's not really education. The daft thing is, Amazon will put this in categories it wants, but you've initially got to set, we can put it in non-fiction general, I suppose. So you often can't get to the category. I will just double check in Publisher Rocket what we had that in, but I don't think it's a category it's letting us actually select, even though it said it was selectable. But that doesn't matter because Amazon will still often put it in there. Let's just check it in here. General. Does kind of come under that. You want to kind of find things that it could fit into. As I say, what's going to happen is Amazon will list using those initially, but it will move them, and it will move them into categories you can't select yourself. So, don't think reference. Oh, I know. Consumer guides, general reference. I think we could do that. There we go. That'll do. And then in here, we want to get our keywords in. So, aquarium. And we had fish tanks, fresh water fish, marine fish, fish keeping, what else can we put in here? What else would go well with the fish thing? Oh, aquascaping seemed to be a word that the book picked up on. And let's do aquarium. We've got aquarium, but let's do aquarium maintenance. Ready to release my book now. Save and continue. Upload manuscript. And here, I wonder if you can guess what we do. We just upload the docx file from Word. Don't have to do any conversion. Okay, now we can come down here. We can say launch the cover creator. You can upload just your JPEG, but we have found that it works better doing it this way. As far as getting it listed and having it not give errors and look right. So what we do, we throw it into their cover thing first, and then we pick one that's got hardly any text on it, which would be the first one normally, and then we just get rid of the text that it's trying to add. So you'll see what I mean. Okay, so we choose this cover, and then this text here, there's no delete button for it, you just have to backspace it out, and you have to do that with any text that it has put in. Which will be 3 boxes in total, because we did all of ours on the cover. Now we can hit save. We can preview this. And we found by doing the cover this way, you don't get any errors in the next step. So that's why we do it that way. You can officially just upload your image in JPEG or TIFF only. Did we use AI? Yes, we did. We use it for text. I'm going to say that it was the entire workbook with editing. I'm going to tell it I used to, and we've answered this question differently every time. It doesn't. I don't think it makes any difference. We're going to put in here Who and OpenAI. The images are not AI generated, nor are any translations, because there aren't any. And then we can come down here. We are converting your file. So we can't yet preview it. We can hit the save button. And it will tell us when it's ready to preview. And it will ask us to preview it. And the preview in Amazon is worth doing, because it also checks for other spelling mistakes, anything that you might have missed. So this does take a few minutes. Or a few moments just to get the preview done. It'll run some other quality checks and other things. But while it's doing that, it's letting me carry on with the next thing. I can go back and check that in a second. So I want to enroll in KDP, all territories. Being based on the .com in this case, that's fine. I'm going to price the book relative. I'm going to give it a $4.99 price ticket. Doesn't really matter. I mean, I'm going to give this away and use it to get a bestseller ranking initially. So I'm not really even worried about the money I make on it. Come down here and say publish. Okay, let's just go in because we didn't get to normally I preview it first. Oh well, it's jumped through that. I don't care. I'm just going to let it go. Right, that is now publishing. We wait for it to go from review to publishing. If they throw up any errors, I don't know if there's any way I can edit now. I've come this far. You can't get back. That's fine. Never mind then. So we'll let that go through. Here's some I did earlier. So Vegan Salad Magic is currently publishing. It's not live yet. This one spent a little while in review, but then went to publishing. And this is, sometimes they take 72 hours, sometimes they take 10 minutes. This one happened really quick and got published, and that is being promoted and advertised today. In fact, if we go into the promotion advertising for an existing book, I'll just show you real quick. If I go on the bottom here, We've got a free book promotion that started Sunday, runs till Thursday, and it's in progress. And that is what we run around sharing in lots of Facebook groups. But that's a whole other topic. But basically, Facebook groups, Pinterest, any kind of groups where free books are listed, advertised. There are groups where authors help each other out with the rankings and things like that. Do a little bit of that hustling. It's well worth doing. That's how you get these things out there. But that is honestly all there is to know about taking a book from Who, editing it in Word, giving it a cover, and getting it published as a Kindle book. It's that easy. There really is nothing to it. Give it a go. Get some out there. As you can see, I've been listing multiple books. You could do a few a day. I'm only doing 1 or 2 a day. I could do more. I could do 3, but I don't really want to. Plus, all of these books I am going to monetize in other ways. For example, if I've got a best-selling book and I advertise, you think about this from a marketing ploy, get private label, white label rights to my proven best-selling book. Is that going to make people sit up and listen? And yet what we know is it's extremely easy to get a best-selling book, as you're going to find out. We will show you the progress of this one as we promote it and see what it does. But I know that we can get a #1 in that category very, very easily. And then I can launch it on Gumroad with private label rights. Get this aquarium guide. It's a bestseller on Amazon. I can do that with any of these other books. There's lots of ways to monetize it afterwards. At the moment, I'm interested in getting the prestige of being a #1 bestseller and then leveraging that in other marketing. We'll talk to you about that and other ideas in other videos at other times, but I hope you have found this useful. Thanks for hanging out with me while I edited and uploaded and published yet another book. Who wrote it? Yeah.